Welcome to Thinking is Contagious. I'm watching Joe Biden in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, giving this speech. I hope you get a chance to listen to it. He is single-handedly the ballsiest liar I have ever seen in my life. Either that or he really is so senile he doesn't remember who he is, who he represents, what's been going on in this country for the last 4 years. He's there quoting unity and the forces of evil and divisiveness and lack of opportunity and opportunity only for the privileged few. He's quoting Abraham Lincoln, a Republican. He is saying he's going to govern. He's a Democrat, but he's going to govern for all Americans. He's saying that we can't allow hatred and violence and protesting. But what he brings up, he mentions that the Black Lives Matters, the peaceful protesters, and the looting and pillaging he mentions, he refers back to West Virginia and the white supremacists and the KKK with their, now his signature line, their veins popping and ranting and raving with hate speech, and that we can't tolerate this. All this from a party that until about a month ago fully supported Black Lives Matters and Antifa's actions as peaceful protests. All this coming from a party who felt that looting, burning, pillaging, shooting police officers, shooting and attacking innocent citizens, seizing government property, gaining control of city streets, blocks, entire city streets and blocks, making demands upon taxpayers, American citizens, pleading for the defunding of police, demanding the defunding of police. That's the party that Joe Biden says today, can't we all just get along? People, they are so desperate, and they know that they can put this old guy up there and let him rant and rave, because he basically probably doesn't remember half of this stuff. And he's up there professing now how bipartisan he is, quoting God, quoting scripture, a man who supports abortion, a man who professes to be a practicing Catholic, supports abortion, a man who has supported abortion a long time. I don't know if you recall, many years ago, the church refused to give him communion because of his stance on abortion. Talking about souls, talking about God, talking about being good, and he's murdering babies. Talking about coming together, talking about no separation, talking about how we have to be one country, and the forces of evil that are driving us apart, from a man whose party, whose vice presidential candidate supports Black Lives Matter and Antifa, whose party has supported Black Lives Matter and Antifa, whose party has raised money to bail out violent protesters, a party who tried to put the blame on the violence as being set up and by infiltrated white supremacists, and they were quickly made to look like fools when plenty of documentation showing that these were Black Lives Matters and Antifa people that were doing this. A party that condoned police officers being shot. A party that perpetrates lies like Breonna Taylor. And now, their stance 3 weeks before an election is, let's all get together. Let's all be great. Let's all be good together. We can't be partisan. We can't let partisan politics ruin this country. He disavows being a socialist, yet everyone around him avows being that. All their agenda is socialist. People, they have an old, senile man delivering a message, and they believe that the American public has no attention span and can be lied to, and that they will forget what the history has been. The Democratic Party, 50 years ago, a little over 50 years ago, the party of Jim Crow laws, the party of segregation, the party of the KKK. That's who we're talking about. Just 50 years ago. Today they want reparations for the very people that they oppressed 50 years ago, and that they're alive today. Biden's been in office for 47 years. So I think the first guy to write a check should be Joe. This needs to stop. This needs to end. And again, the power to do that is in our hands by our vote. I recommend that you go vote in person. I got my mail-in ballots. No shot. There is evidence. Repeated evidence has appeared on television. There was an issue with 100,000 votes in New York. The liberal media plays up 9 here, 10 there. Such small numbers are insignificant. 9 here, 10 there. Add up. Omar in Minnesota. You saw that video by Veritas. I think it was pretty obvious that there was more than 9 votes there. It was carloads, a carload full. They're lying to you, and they're counting on you not investigating. They're counting on you following them blindly. And they're going to be in for a huge surprise. The polls are the same as where they were with Hillary. Back when Hillary was going to win. The polls are the same. Come election night, the results will be the same. And that's when we have to be careful. Because this has been set up with the rigged election. And if you'll recall, like in 2016, the people who started with the rigged election were the Democrats. They were saying that the Russians rigged it for Trump. Today, the rigged election talk was started by the Democrats when Hillary said you can't trust the vote, Joe should contest. And their platform was because Trump is shutting down the Postal Service. That's what they're putting into people's minds. And then they're putting the exclamation point on it by reporting on all these fake polls, telling them that their man is up by double digits everywhere. That is what is the fuel that will set the fire. Because what they're telling these people is, hey, you're up by double digits, you're up by double digits, you're good, you're good, you're good. CNBC, the market, is factoring in a Biden win. This is CNBC. They're all making it a foregone conclusion to Black Lives Matter, Antifa, that Biden has won already. When he doesn't win, that's when they're going to scream foul. And their screaming foul, the liberals, is not like you and I when we're wronged, that we'll pursue legal avenues to challenge what's been done. They don't do that. They're going to come to your house. They're going to throw stones and rocks through your windows. They're going to burn property. They're going to hunt down police officers because that's the peaceful liberal way. When they don't get their way, they throw a temper tantrum. And collateral damage, anything is acceptable to them when they don't get their way. And he's out there saying, can't we all get along? They're the people that don't know how to get along. The liberals get along with you as long as you agree with them and you say yes to everything. The liberals think they're the smartest person in the room. They talk down their nose to you. The liberals take a lie and spew it back at you. And if you don't believe it, or you contest it, or you attempt to prove them otherwise, their fallback position is you're a racist, you're a misogynist, you're a xenophobe, you're an idiot. You're not as smart as me. Again, I go back to Biden right now, saying that opportunity, he's going to make sure that opportunity is for all Americans, not just the elite few. And like I've told you, many of these programs, why do people cross the Florida Straits? Why do people hide in wheel wells of airliners? Why do people get smuggled in shipping containers? Why do people cross the U.S.-Mexico border? Why do people risk life and limb to come to a country that only gives opportunity to the elite? You think those people crossing the border are elite? No. The problem here is that we have a core basis of citizens of this country who were born here, speak the language here, have the opportunity to attend public schools here, have been offered as a platform school vouchers to allow them to take their kids to any school they choose. Okay? Lower socioeconomic level Americans of all race, color, and creed, school vouchers. And the Democrats vote against it. And the Democrats poison the well and tell them it's not in their best interest. Well, guess what? This same lack of opportunity, educational opportunity that you're complaining about, is anchored in the public education, the public school system that they so vehemently are protecting by refusing to allow vouchers. The Republicans want to give all Americans the right to choose where their kids go to school. You know why the Democrats don't want that? Because the unions are afraid. Once you can choose where you want your kid to go to school, all these schools with many teachers, and believe me, I know the background of a lot of the public school teachers that there are in Miami-Dade County. Okay? I know what's going on. And I'm not saying all, but there is a very large percentage that do the proverbial baseball term. They think that they throw their glove out on the mound, that's enough, that they showed up. And that's what happens here. They don't teach. They know there's no accountability. And it is a flawed system led by flawed people who answer to the unions. The day that you're allowed to have vouchers to choose where your kids go to school, all these weak links, starting with the union, that's parasitic. Okay? We're in a state that if union representation is available, even if you don't pay your union dues, they've got to cover you. Okay? But they're not going to tell you that. Okay? It's a parasitic organization that is meant to protect the weakest link. No top-tier employee is going to face the gauntlet of his or her employer, because the employer wants people who do their job so that they don't have to do it for them. The union keeps the weakest link viable. They've ruined many an industry in this country, and they're going to continue ruining them. It's the closest thing to socialism within an economic system that you can get. It's affirmative action It is quota. It is all but protect the most valued employee. Let the most valuable employee gain and garner as much money, remuneration as they can possibly get based on their efforts. No. We've got a tier system that no matter what, it's by seniority, it's by levels. Yeah, there's some quote unquote hurdles that can get you bonuses. My daughter's a teacher, okay? And she had an instance when she was being evaluated by her principal, okay, for potential for bonus, that the first question out of that principal's mouth to her was, "What subject do you teach?" And then he rated her. And instead of giving her extraordinary, which she is, he gave her a couple of average grades, precluded her from bonusing at the top level, which, not because she's my daughter, but all of you guys know her. Everybody that knows her knows top tier. Okay? She did not receive the highest grade. And when she challenged it, you know what she was told? I can't give everyone the highest grade. That's what we're facing. That's what we're facing in this country. Vote Democrat and you perpetuate the monstrosity that is going on right now. Vote Republican at this point because it's our only salvation. Trump 2020 and most likely well beyond.